Happy 35th anniversary to the 1991 film Popcorn. Just barely missed January. Coming out on February 1st, 35 years ago today. This is a movie that I remember seeing a TV spot for, but I didn't finally watch it until it came on HBO over a year later. It was in March of 1992. Now, the first time I saw it may have been on March 20th, because I just looked at the HBO guide, but that HBO guide that I found online was missing some pages, so I don't know what time it played on March 20th, but on March 30th it played at 10 o'clock. I think that's when I caught the entire movie, because when I first saw it, I caught it at the first death sequence, which was 35 minutes into the movie. So I missed a great little deal of it, missed the first act. This is a film about a killer in a movie theater. Pretty good setting, and it's a silly horror comedy that according to the makings of, was originally intended to be rated PG-13, but the MPAA said it was too intense, and they even said it's because of the theatrical poster, which is a skeleton taking a mask off, and the mask is crying. We'll basically say it's a woman's face that got ripped off. Yeah, this is a soft R-rated movie. And this is a film that many people don't really talk about. It's not necessarily forgotten, but yeah, only YouTubers seem to bring this up from time to time. But yeah, I don't remember anyone talking about this in the 90s. I know it in the 2000s. This didn't come back into my life until the 2010s when I found it on YouTube and started watching it again. And there were some scenes in it that were a lot different than what I remember. This movie goes down as having my biggest Mandella Effect, because I swear that there's a scene where the character, when the main villain gets truly introduced, the dialogue I remember is different, the plot or at least the plan that the killer has is different, and there's even another scene whenever the main hero, not the hero, main character, the hero of the story, goes to the killer's house, and there's some other scenes that are not the way I remember when I finally watched this again, 20 years later. Come on, Sky, you can do math. You can do math, okay? I'm okay. Well, the movie opens up showing these masks in this, in this water, and then it says the movie's title, Popcorn. The title sequence, how I do it is kind of really not that great to me. Honestly, I like the design for the theatrical poster better. That's a better way of designing the title. But I'm going to be honest with y'all. I do not like this movie's title. I do not think Popcorn works as a movie title at all. I found out this was released in other countries as Phantom of the Cinema. I like that title better. Okay. Maggie is having a nightmare with this woman constantly saying the name Sarah. Yeah, I do it 3 times in a row. It's the same footage over and over again. She wakes up, she gets a tape recorder, and she's planning on turning these dreams into a movie. Anne isn't exactly that happy about this. Anne gets a phone call from someone with a deep voice, deep, eerie, dark voice, talking to her, and she's like, whatever. Maggie goes to school, runs into Mark, the love interest. Of course, he plants a forced kiss on her, and he basically wants to go take her back to his place, and she just, get out of my way. I'm like, she goes to her friends, and they see Toby wanting to do a film festival to raise money. They do the cliche where they make jokes, they're against it, but then they side with it. They go to the theater needs to be cleaned up. Now, the actor from My Favorite Martian shows up with all the props and all the stuff, gives them that big pep speech, and then we watch them start cleaning it, and Bud, the one in the wheelchair, when they're moving all the tarps, he's directing them all like that, so they throw the tarps on top of it. They get everything set up, and then whenever they were testing the odors for this movie, it's going to be called the Stinks with Smell-O-Rama, I guess. They, dead dog, locker room, but when they Bud and Tina go, dead dog's the only one they smell. Oh, dead dog! And they get all in their costumes, they're all ready, and then they find a film. It basically is just footage of an eyeball, a mouth, and of this guy constantly saying over and over again, But then he finally changes his come into my head when he rips his head open, showing his brain. Maggie faints, and then she regains consciousness. I almost said consciousness. Okay. Tony Roberts' character, Mr. Davis, explains who that was, Leonard Gates. Basically, he ran a film cult, and he made a film, it got laughed at, so he made another movie called The Possessor, but he filmed the whole movie except the ending. He played that out live on stage, murdered his family, then burned the place down. And they never found his body. Yeah, it's one of those stories. Okay, Sarah goes home, tells her Aunt Susan what happened. Susan now wants to pack up and leave. Then she gets another phone call, and the guy claims he's Leonard Gates, which shocks Susan. So he tells, let's go have a little talk and bring that gun of yours in case I turn my back again. She goes to the theater. All the letters on the big sign come off, and then Possessor shows up magically. Wikipedia says she just visualizes this, which is the only thing that makes sense. But then again, the ticket comes out, the door opens up, so at first you're going to oh, this is a haunted movie theater story. She goes in there, and the film's playing, the Possessor's head. He talks to her, and then it goes off. That's when we see a figure up there. Oh, and it's not a haunted movie theater story. Figure starts running around. Then she sees this one character doing this. She says, I'll do it. She fires, the character goes down, but then she thinks she's like, oh God, I got him, I got him. Green light comes on, hands grab her, pull her through the screen, and then it reveals that thing that she shot was more like a walking prop. Now, whenever I first saw this, the walking prop is all I remember. I just remember her going in there, seeing him, and the character dropping face down, but then she got grabbed. I was 10 years old when I first saw this movie. Well, they basically start the film festival. Everybody is there in costumes. But every time we go into the theater, we don't see everyone wearing costumes. The fact is, I think we see more people not wearing costumes than wearing costumes. But outside, everyone's dressed up. Well, they're all in character. They're selling the popcorn, all the stuff, and all that, everything. But then one character shows up at the ticket booth with a burnt-up hand, throwing wadded-up bills, and he talks to Maggie and goes, "Oh, these films are as good as Possessor, Sarah." She follows that character. She chases that character all throughout the movie theater. But then the character goes to this one area. She goes up there. It's Toby at the projection booth. Then she starts talking to him, and then he does reveal that Leonard Gates' body was never found, so Sarah's under the impression that he still was alive. And so Toby then goes looking for him. He looks that way, he goes outside, the door shuts, he's locked out. Now Mark does show up with another girl, Joy, basically the pretty snobby girl. Well, he's by her side until he goes and gets some popcorn, but unfortunately he still has Maggie on her mind. You think I just spoiled it? You would have saw that coming. He goes and sees Maggie. They talk. He's in disbelief, and Toby shows up. But before this, they're playing the Mosquito movie that's in 3D. This would have been a pretty good film if it really did exist instead of being a movie within a movie. Basically, a nuclear bomb caused a giant mosquito to happen. It kills this guy's sheep, and when it gets the farmer, when it cuts through the penetrates the roof into his head, it sucks him when you can tell it's a fake dummy shriveling up. I'm telling you, when I first saw this, I remember the guy going like this, and it just showed him shrivel up in a more realistic way, instead of it going to her and then going back on the fake dummy. But whenever it's putting one of its legs through the window, she rolls up the window and green slime comes out of it, or at least I would think it would be green and not color. But at the end of that movie, they're shooting it, and shooting it has no effect. I'm like, that car door window injured it. How can it be invincible now? Well, just give me that car door. Perfect. There's a line in that movie where the lady on the film asked this guy if there's a Mrs. So-and-so. I forgot the guy's last name. He says, yes, she lives in Canada. She makes good apple pie. I call her Mom. Actually, it's a pretty good line. Well, while this is going on, Mr. Davis gets this control and gets the big mosquito to come into the theater, spooking all the people. But then someone shows up above him and has a bigger remote control and takes control of it, turns it around, aims the stinger, or at least the piercer, whatever you call that thing, and it impales him. Now, when I first saw the movie on March 20th, 1994, this is when I first saw it. This is where I caught the movie at. And then whenever Mr. Davis falls down dead, killer grabs him, drags him off, and makes a copy of his face. Tina, the class slut, shows up, sees him, goes up there. She notices his lip is peeling, but she ties a rope around him, and when she gives him a big kiss, his face just slowly starts ripping off. He tears off the mask, revealing it's the guy that Maggie was chasing around, and the rope that she tied herself with, he just does that to her and strangles her to death. Off camera. Like I said, this is a soft R. Now, Mark and Maggie go looking for him. Of course, Mark gets punched in the face by this big guy who sat next to Joy and is now going to make her his date. And after that, he just literally abandons Joy after that and just goes back and be with Maggie. And Maggie just lets him be by her side. But Mark gets abused a lot in this movie. He gets hit by Maggie twice. He gets hit by the big guy. He falls down steps. He gets his hand stepped on. He gets attacked by a dog. Because when Toby comes back, Toby lets them know that after he got locked down, he almost got ripped to shreds by a dog after he jumped the fence to go around the building. And then when Mark comes back with Maggie, his pants are ripped in the back, so the girl in the nurse outfit is able to sew it back up. But now they're playing the amazing, electrifying man. I hope I said the title right. This is about a guy who goes to the electric chair, and then when he gets zapped, he gets electrical powers. This is what I thought that movie Shocker was about. And for a movie called Shocker and having the guy on the electric chair getting fried for the movie's poster, there's very little electricity in that movie. But moving back to Popcorn, Bud is up there using the buttons to zap everybody for this, because this is a film where every time the killer strikes, he's supposed to zap people in the audience. Unfortunately, the killer, now disguised as Tina, shows up, turns his wheelchair into an electric chair, and when I first saw this, I really felt bad for Bud. Basically, after he gets strapped up and he gets listening to that recording with the Leonard Gates' voice telling him that you're going to get a real charge out of this. The lights will go on in the following order. Blue, green, red, or does it go? I forgot. Point is when the yellow one switches on, so do you. Until he then taps him on the cheeks and then leaves. Bud struggles as hard as he can to get to that one main plug, and you think he's gonna do it, but unfortunately we see the yellow light click on and he gets zapped, and I mean zapped. That animated electricity is all over it and makes the power go out. Then we see his wheelchair shoot backwards, and he's not in it. He's never seen again. We don't know what happened to him after that. I'm pretty sure he's dead, but yeah, we don't know what happened to his body. I don't remember seeing it anymore after this. I may have to watch it again just to see. And I guess after watching it, well, Sarah goes up there. But Leonard Gates is up there. He didn't says all that stuff to her. She does the slow motion. No! Runs off, and then as she's running down the hallway, she now is having flashbacks, and now she realizes Leonard Gates is her father. And that woman calling out to her dream is her real mother, and her Susan is really her aunt. Okay, I just put it. Well, basically, it's now looked at, he's come back to finish the film to kill her. She runs into Toby, tells him that. Joyce sees them, assumes they are together. And then, when they go down to the basement to get the power back on, because they got the band playing to keep the audience happy. I don't care what you say, horror geek, that band is good. That band is good. But you're reviewing this movie better than me. Yeah, rip reviewing is what they call. Well, Toby falls down the steps. Now, when I first saw this, I swear I remember Toby falling down at the very top of the steps, not going way down, and then you hear that dark, eerie voice. Sarah, I can call her Sarah, goes down there. She sees Mr. Davis, Tina, and then she gets attacked. Power comes back on, and this is when we get the big reveal. Toby is the killer. Turns out he's wearing a fake face because he reveals that he was in that fire 15 years ago when Susan shot Leonard Gates, Leonard Gates didn't start the place on fire. He killed his wife, and when he was about to kill his daughter, Susan shot him, and he fell on a torch, and that's how the place caught on fire. So, and Toby's mother was part of Leonard's film calls, and they were sitting in the front row, so when the torch fell, his mother died and he got badly burned, and then all this is really about revenge against Sarah and her aunt. And he's killing his classmates because I'm pretty much assuming that they know what he's planning is not part of the act, and he does not want them to interfere, because what he wants to do is reenact the ending on midnight at the Dutch, and he's under the impression that if he reenacts it, history will change. He won't burn and his mother won't die. This is not what I remember when I first saw this. I remember Toby turning around and her saying, "Toby?" And then him, whenever he does that, "You're sorry," and "Look at me." I just remember him saying, he all cheerful, he goes, "Look at me." Then he points at his mask and says, "I gotta go to school like this." Because I remember Toby just being born disfigured, never any burning. I don't remember any burning going on at all. It was like, Toby was just born disfigured. He just learned about Leonard Gates, became obsessed with him, and just wants to finish what he started. I remember Toby pointing at the counter and saying, the anniversary is tonight at midnight. That does not happen. Some of the dialogue is similar to what I remember, but it's just not the way I remember. This is what blows me away every time I watch this, is the fact that my memory with this scene is so different. This movie has my biggest Mandela effect. There's another scene coming up next that's also not the way I remember it. And well, Toby basically shows her Aunt Susan. He's put her in a body cast, still aiming the gun. Of course, it's not loaded. I remember him standing in front of her and saying, "Come on, shoot, 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 shoot." But he then tells her it's still a half an hour till midnight. He's got time to kill. And the guy in the straitjacket, when he goes to the bathroom, Toby gets right next to him, and the guy's freaked out that he looks exactly like him. Toby pees on his leg, grabs him, and throws him in the stall. Now, and then he closes the stall door and locks it on the outside. The guy just pounds on the door. Then in the toilet, there's this chemical on the side that slides into the water and creates these fumes. But instead of dropping to the floor and crawling out like he should, he keeps pounding on the dang stall door saying, "Let me out of here." And then he passes out, and when it hits, the fumes hit the light bulb, the stall explodes. I swear I remember when Toby threw him in there and shut the door. I remember him throwing like an overhead shot like that, and it just, this barrel, those glass tubes with the potion inside, hitting the floor, creating the fume. The guy just stands up, chokes, and then sits down in the toilet. That's what I remember. I don't remember him pounding on the door or the thing sliding in the toilet. And man, that was like timing perfectly, because I don't remember Toby putting it there or anything. It's like he put there earlier because he already knew at this exact point in time that guy was going to go to the bathroom. Man, that's unbelievable. Well, he goes after the nurse girl, but when she reveals that she's in love with Toby, he runs off because he's and then he gets mad at her for saying that. Now at this point, Joy does tell Mark about the issue with Sarah and Toby. But of course, Joy gets kicked out, and then so does her new fat boyfriend after Joy tries to sick him on Mark. But the tough girl, Cheryl, she's the one who knocks the fat guy down in one punch, and then she kicks both of them out, locks the door. But when Mark goes over to Toby's place, now this scene is not the way I remembered it either. My Mandela effect is I remember Toby living in the suburbs, his mother answering the door, Mark entering, seeing Toby's father on the couch, armchair, watching TV, and then him looking in this hallway with a bulletin board that has all these clippings about the incident that happened 15 years ago. What really happened, how the scene really goes down is, I'll admit I do like this one a little bit better. Okay, I do like it better. So when he goes over to Toby's place, he's being evicted by his landlord. The guy just launches something out and it almost hits Mark. And when Mark goes in there, he sees that place, and you now know Toby is insane. He's obsessed. I like the music that's playing. I like how the landlord's describing everything that he's found. I like how Mark's freaking out by all this stuff. And so he heads back to the theater at ASAP. Well, after this, Toby doesn't kill any more people, so when it comes to victims, it's only 4. Now, whenever that, Toby then starts, he cuts off The Stench, which was going to be the third movie in Smell-O-Vision, or Smell-O-Rama, and he starts playing that footage of the possessor. Everybody's booing it. Toby's even going out there booing it because he doesn't have his makeup on. He doesn't not wearing a mask. This is why everybody thinks he's wearing makeup. And he goes, boo, boo, which I'm pretty sure is a lot of people are going to be doing through this video. But Toby then starts reenacting the scenes, puts Sarah in the same outfit her mother was wearing, and then Styles going to do a live performance on stage. The audience, of course, thinks this is part of the act. Now, the two last girls, Cheryl and the nurse girl, her name has unfortunately escaped me, go up to the projection, ow! Where the film is filmed, playing. They can't stop the projector. I'll just put it up in the text. They can't stop the film playing. It has already stopped, and they never come down to try and stop Toby. Yeah, they just, they're not seeing it until after this is all over with. Mark, however, shows up. The door is locked, so he has to do the old climbing. He gets in. He sees Sarah getting in danger. Toby's telling everybody to start the countdown because it's 30 seconds to midnight because he wants to kill Sarah on the dot. Mark gets his belt, zip lines down with the cables with the mosquito, hits, and dislodges the mosquito. And while this is going, audiences are cheering, but Toby's mad. He's screaming, "No, you're ruining it!" But while he's too busy yelling at Mark, the mosquito falls down and impales him. And we get some pretty cool music when this plays. When we saw Toby dying, the music is nice and serious, even though the film is definitely not. It's like whenever Mark goes over to Toby's house, the music, once again, nice and serious. But at the end, the two other girls now know their friends are dead. They're sad. Susan is now saying she has to go away, probably because she's got to be arrested, because remember, she's the one responsible for that fire and all the people that died. Yeah, see you in 20 years, see you in 30 years, Aunt Susan. Oh, man. Well, Maggie and Mark get back together, and then happy ending. Popcorn is a stupid fun film. The performances in it are just ridiculous, and Toby is an over-the-top villain. But I really wish this movie would have been called Phantom of the Cinema. I really wish my Mandela Effects really were real with this film. I just like that part where Toby's revealed to be the killer. The way I remember it, I like the plot that I remember, where Toby was just obsessed with Possessor and just wanted to finish what they started to honor him. He was just born like that. But yeah, when it comes to that part where Toby says what his plan is, I wish he just would have said his plan was to kill Sarah in front of her aunt, so that this time she can watch helplessly as her niece dies, and he does it in front of an audience as they cheer him on. Now that does happen, but he doesn't explain it that way. That's really all I wish they would have just had him say, instead of maybe this time I won't burn and my mother won't die. It just makes no sense. You're like, how is this going to rewrite history? It won't. It's kind of like how my Mandela Effects are never going to come back. Only in my memory, but when I watch the film, they're not there. Maybe this time when I watch the movie, it will be the way I remember it. No, it's not going to happen. Well, if you haven't seen Popcorn, check it out. It's dumb fun. You'll either like it or you'll frown at it, probably like this video. If you don't like the video, don't worry about it. I'm not trying to be the next big thing. This is just a hobby. And well, February has now begun, and after this, I'm doing my movie. I made it back in 2020 for my Facebook page. Now I'm doing it for YouTube. Terrible Tales the movie, featuring me as the main character, me as the main villain, and all these characters from my Terrible Tale book series, a book series targeted to be the worst book series of all time. When I made this film for my Facebook page, it was targeted to be the worst movie of 2020. It didn't happen, but maybe this time I'll get it for 2026. I'm going over it, correcting all the misspellings, animation goofs, and yes, it's animated, but I'm using Paint for my computer. It's basically a parody of Earthbound and Quest 64, and I make it to be like watching a long play of a video game, and it's all in text, so you have to, speech bubbles and all that, so you have to read it. There's only going to be one voice in this, and that's not going to be till the end of the movie. But if you want to check it out, that's fine. If you don't worry about it. But for all of you who do watch it, Wish me luck in getting the title of the worst movie of 2026. Oh, and happy 35th anniversary to Popcorn once more.